Hello there, my dear gardening friends. What a gift it is to have you here today, sharing a quiet moment of your time and heart with me. If you're anything like me, your hands have planted a lifetime of memories. Your knees may creak a little louder these days, and yet, your heart still skips a beat when that first tomato blushes red on the vine. Then you, my friend, are in the right place, because we're not here to work harder anymore. We're here to garden smarter, to create joy, not backaches, to welcome beauty, not battles with bugs, to grow something meaningful, with peace in our hands, and a smile in our soul. Today, I'll be sharing 10 gentle but powerful companion planting secrets that can help your garden flourish naturally, gracefully, and with less effort. So if the thought of bigger harvests, fewer pests, and more harmony in your backyard makes your heart smile, hit that subscribe button and join our meaningful living family, because together we grow stronger. And speaking of strength, in our very next section, we'll discover the quiet wisdom that makes companion planting so perfect for us, especially now. Part 1. Why companion planting works wonders, especially now. As we get a little older, we begin to understand something that only time can teach us. Wisdom often beats strength, and in the garden, that truth grows deep roots. We're not here to fight nature. We're here to work with it. That's the heart of companion planting, creating a garden that's stronger, not by force, but by building gentle relationships between plants. You see, just like we cherish good neighbors, those who lend a hand or share a warm smile, plants also thrive in good company. Some act like quiet bodyguards, keeping pests at bay. Others are joyful hosts, inviting bees and butterflies to stop by and stay a while. Some even help from underground, enriching the soil, making it softer, kinder, more welcoming for everything growing nearby. For those of us with more seasons behind us than ahead, companion planting is truly a blessing. It means fewer chemicals, less bending and pulling, and more time simply being in the garden, soaking in its beauty, breathing in its calm. Just imagine stepping into your backyard and finding a patch of life that's lush, colorful, and full of health, without all the fuss you used to expect. And the best part, it's simpler than you might think. Now that we've planted the seed of understanding, get ready, because next, we'll explore one of the most beloved crops of all time, and the powerful friends that help it shine. Part 2. Tomatoes, stronger with friends. Now tell me, is there anything quite as satisfying as picking a sun-warmed tomato right off the vine? Its skin soft, its flavor bursting with summer? It's one of those simple joys that never gets old. But as any seasoned gardener knows, tomatoes, lovely as they are, can be magnets for trouble. From sneaky aphids to those relentless hornworms, they tend to attract more attention than we'd like. But here's the good news. We don't need to fight nature. We just need to invite the right friends to the garden party. Let's start with basil. Planting basil near your tomatoes not only keeps away aphids, hornworms, and even mosquitoes, it actually enhances the flavor of your tomatoes. Yes, really. A delicious win-win. Next, add in some garlic and chives. Their bold aroma confuses spider mites and other tiny pests. Tuck a few bulbs around your tomato plants, especially if you're using raised beds or waist-high planters. Your back will thank you, and your tomatoes will too. Don't forget marigolds. Those cheerful golden blooms are more than just pretty. Their roots fight off nematodes in the soil, while their blossoms lure pests away from your precious fruit. Need another little secret? Try nasturtiums. They act like pest magnets, drawing harmful bugs toward them and away from your tomatoes. Plus, They bring a lovely splash of color to your garden path. And if you've got a bit of extra space, consider planting borage. It repels tomato worms and invites in bees for better pollination. Then, sprinkle in some parsley and thyme near the base. They help protect against ground-dwelling pests and armyworms, all while adding texture and fragrance to your beds. When you surround your tomatoes with the right companions, you're not just planting vegetables. You're planting a living, breathing defense system. And your reward? Tomatoes that grow stronger, sweeter, and safer, one delicious bite at a time. Now that our tomatoes have found their perfect companions, let's turn our attention to another garden favorite, with just as much flavor, and maybe even more spice. Part 3, Peppers, sweet or spicy, always better protected. Once your tomatoes are thriving, it's time to turn to their vibrant garden companions, peppers. Whether you love the crisp sweetness of a bell pepper in your salad, or a little fiery kick to wake up your taste buds, peppers bring joy, color, and flavor to the table. But they also need a bit of help staying healthy. Peppers are easy targets for aphids, thrips, and even fungal problems. Luckily, companion planting comes to the rescue again. Quietly, naturally, and beautifully. First, call on our reliable friend basil. Just like with tomatoes, basil works wonders near peppers, repelling pests and filling the garden with its calming scent. Then add in members of the allium family, garlic, onions, and chives. Their strong aromas confuse insects that would normally nibble on your pepper leaves. And the bonus? They're just as useful in the kitchen as they are in the soil. If you're growing your peppers in fabric grow bags or patio pots, it's easy to tuck these helpers in close, keeping everything within arm's reach. Now let's talk about a small but mighty flower, alyssum. This sweet-smelling ground cover invites beneficial insects that feed on aphids and other garden pests. It stays low, keeps the soil moist, and makes the bed look charming too. And then, sunflowers. More than just a pretty face. Sunflowers give your peppers some gentle shade in hot climates, and they attract predatory wasps that hunt down those unwanted intruders. Need another layer of protection? Try planting a few radishes nearby. They deter flea beetles. And if your radishes start to flower, just snip the blooms to keep them focused. Here's a trick I really love. Mix in a few hot cherry peppers with your sweet varieties. They act like a trap crop, drawing maggot flies away from your main harvest. A little thoughtful planting now means a whole lot less stress later. And really, who wouldn't love a beautiful basket of peppers without a single bite taken by a bug? Ready for more? In our next section, we'll cool things down with a garden favorite that's as refreshing as it is rewarding. Part 4, Cucumbers, cool, crisp, and cared for. After tending to our tomatoes and peppers, let's shift our gaze to another summer favorite, cucumbers. There's something about a fresh, cool cucumber on a hot day that feels like pure refreshment for the soul. But just like the others, cucumbers can attract unwanted attention. From beetles to mildew, pests seem to love them as much as we do. Thankfully, with a little thoughtful companion planting, we can protect our cucumbers without reaching for chemicals or bending more than we need to. Start by planting a bit of dill nearby. Dill draws in ladybugs and beneficial wasps, both of which feast on the pests that often bother cucumbers before we even notice. Then consider adding lavender around the edges. Not only does it smell like a dream every time you pass by, but it helps repel moths and flea beetles that can ruin a good cucumber patch. There's also tansy, an old-time gardener's secret. This hardy herb is disliked by beetles of all kinds. Try placing a few pots of tansy at the ends of your cucumber rows. You may be surprised how effective it is. And don't underestimate the power of sunflowers here either. They offer dappled shade on scorching days, and their sturdy stalks can even act as natural trellises for your cucumbers to climb. To round it all out, plant marigolds and nasturtiums nearby. These cheerful flowers distract aphids and draw in pollinators. A true double blessing. And if you want a quick-growing ally, add a few radishes around the base. They're easy, fast, and they help drive off beetles before they ever get too comfortable. Here's a back-saving tip. Train your cucumbers to grow upward, using a bamboo trellis or sturdy fence. That way, you won't have to stoop or struggle to find those sneaky fruits hiding under the leaves. Up next, we'll look at the quiet heroes of every healthy garden. Tiny, fragrant, and far more powerful than they appear. Part 5. Herbs that do more than flavor your food. While our cucumbers climb and our peppers soak in the sun, let's take a moment to appreciate the gentle heroes of the garden. Herbs. They may be small, but don't let their size fool you. These fragrant little companions bring calm, balance, and quiet strength to every garden they touch. Take chamomile, for instance. This daisy-like flower may be best known for bedtime tea, but in the garden, it's like a nurse, tending to nearby plants, strengthening their natural defenses, asking for nothing in return. Then there's calendula, with its cheerful golden petals that draw in bees and butterflies, those tireless pollinators that keep our gardens alive. And bonus, the petals are edible, adding a splash of sunshine to salads and herbal infusions. Now, who could forget mint? It's a bit of a rascal, bold, stubborn, and full of surprises. But it's also a fierce protector. Mint keeps ants, aphids, and even mice at bay. Just remember, always plant mint in containers, unless you want it to take over your whole garden faster. Then you can say, peppermint tea. And let's not leave out lemon balm. With its soft, citrusy fragrance, it not only calms the spirit, but also repels mosquitoes, making it the perfect plant to tuck near your favorite bench or patio chair. Here's a handy little tip. If you sometimes forget where you planted what, don't worry, we all do. Use color-coded plant markers. It's a small touch, but one that adds both beauty and ease to your garden. Next, we'll turn our attention to the blooms that often go unnoticed, but work harder than you might imagine. Part 6. Flowers with a purpose. While we've been giving herbs their well-earned praise, let's not overlook the quiet power of flowers. Some might say flowers are just for show, a little decoration, nothing more. But in a senior's garden, flowers can be some of the hardest working plants we grow. Take sunflowers, for example. Yes, they brighten up any space, but they also provide natural structure for climbing plants, gentle shade for tender crops, and a warm welcome to helpful predatory insects that keep harmful pests in check without us lifting a finger. Then there's the sweet and reliable nasturtium, a favorite in so many companion gardens. It acts as a trap crop, luring aphids and other bugs away from your vegetables. It's like putting out a welcome mat for the pests, but keeping them far from your precious produce. Alyssum is another hidden gem. This low-growing blanket of tiny blossoms not only holds moisture in the soil, but also discourages pests, all while looking soft and charming along the edges of your garden beds. And of course, the faithful marigold. Its scent alone is enough to send bad bugs running for the hills. Marigolds are little warriors in bloom, and I believe every garden deserves a few standing guard. But flowers don't just protect, they lift our spirits too. Their colors, their movement in the breeze, their quiet, joyful presence, they bring beauty that soothes the soul. And as we grow older, that kind of beauty matters more than ever. It's not just about the harvest, it's about creating a space that makes your heart smile. Now that we've met our floral defenders, let's talk about how to arrange it all, especially in ways that make gardening easier on the body, without sacrificing the joy. Part 7. Planning for ease, layouts for limited mobility. After spending time with all these wonderful plants and flowers, let's slow things down for a moment and talk about something just as important, us. Because gardening, especially as we age, shouldn't feel like a race or a chore. It should feel like a gentle rhythm, a peaceful dance between you and the earth. One of the best ways to bring that peace to life is by rethinking how we lay out our gardens. Let's start with containers. Gather companion plants, like tomatoes, basil, and marigolds, into one large pot or raised bed. They'll support each other, and you won't have to walk across the yard to tend to each one. Everything you need is right there, within reach. Next, consider vertical garden towers. These stackable systems are perfect for leafy greens, herbs, and even peppers. They save space, protect your knees, and lift the harvest up to a level where care feels effortless. Another idea I love? Wagon beds. Take an old wheelbarrow or rolling cart, fill it with soil, and plant right inside. You can move it to chase the sunshine, or roll it closer to your favorite resting spot. It's flexible, fun, and surprisingly productive. Don't forget about perimeter planting. Line the edges of your garden beds with herbs and flowers that repel pests and attract pollinators. It keeps the center crops safer and creates the look of a living quilt, rich in color and texture. And here's one final tip. Always keep a foldable stool or garden bench nearby. Sometimes, a 5-minute break to breathe, smile, and admire what you've grown can be the difference between feeling drained and feeling deeply fulfilled. In the next chapter, we'll dig into the how and why behind it all. The quiet science that makes companion planting so beautifully effective. Part 8. The science behind it all. Now you might be wondering, how does all of this really work? Is companion planting just folklore, passed down with garden gloves and sun hats? Or is there something deeper going on beneath the soil? The truth is, while it may feel like magic when your garden is bursting with life, it's actually rooted in real science. Gentle science. Quiet science. The kind that works while we sleep. Let's start with something called pest confusion. Aromatic herbs like basil, rosemary, and mint release natural scents that disrupt the scent trails pests use to find their favorite plants. It's like sending those little invaders on a wild goose chase. Then there's trap cropping, where we plant decoys like nasturtiums or radishes to lure pests away from the crops we love most. Let them nibble on the bait, while our tomatoes and peppers thrive in peace. Soil enrichment is another behind-the-scenes hero. Some plants release compounds through their roots that make the soil healthier and more balanced. For everything growing nearby, that means stronger, happier plants, and less work for our aging hands and backs. And don't forget pollinator attraction. Flowers like marigolds, calendula, and borage draw in bees, butterflies, and hoverflies, the graceful workers who help our gardens bloom and thrive. Here's the best part. You don't need a science degree to make it work. You just need trust in the wisdom of the plants, in the rhythm of nature, and in yourself. Next, we'll talk about timing. How to keep companion planting going through every season, and what to plant when, so your garden keeps giving back all year long. Part 9. Companion planting through the seasons. You know, gardening isn't just for springtime. Not for folks like us, who find joy in watching life bloom through every chapter of the year. Companion planting is not a one-and-done technique. It's a quiet rhythm, a gift that keeps on giving. From the first cool days of spring, to the long golden glow of fall, and even beyond. In early spring, when the air still carries a chill, Reach for hardy friends like radishes, parsley, and calendula. They're resilient, cheerful, and wake the garden gently with color and purpose. When summer turns up the heat, that's the time to lean on sun lovers like basil and sunflowers. Basil flavors your meals and guards your crops, while sunflowers provide much-needed shade and draw in helpful insects, a blessing for plants and people alike. As autumn arrives with its quiet gold, plant garlic, chives, and chamomile. They're tough little heroes that overwinter beautifully and prepare the soil for a flourishing spring to come. It's like planting a promise, a whisper of next year's harvest, already waiting beneath the soil. And if you live in a warmer region, don't let your garden sit empty through winter. Tuck in leafy greens with companions like garlic and calendula. Even when the world outside slows down, your garden can keep growing, slowly, peacefully, gratefully. Here's a gentle idea. Keep a seasonal garden journal. No need for anything fancy, just a notebook where you jot down what you planted, when you planted it, and how it grew. Over time, it becomes a little treasure chest, filled with your own wisdom, your own rhythm, your own legacy. Now, as we step into our final chapter, let's reflect on the deeper lessons gardening teaches us, not just about plants, but about life itself. Part 10, Wisdom from the Garden and from Age. As we walk through each season of the garden, and each season of life, one truth becomes beautifully clear. The loudest solutions are rarely the best ones. Over the years, we've learned that true growth doesn't come with noise and rush. It comes quietly, patiently, with care. And so it is with gardening. We no longer need harsh chemicals or endless, backbreaking work. Instead, we can create spaces that grow with us. Spaces that listen, adapt, and gently heal. The garden listens when we slow down. It responds when we offer soft guidance. It nurtures not just our plants, but our spirits, too. Because companion planting isn't just about deterring pests or boosting yields. It's about honoring the quiet relationships that make life thrive. It reminds us to observe, to trust in nature's rhythm, and to find joy in even the smallest signs of progress. A new leaf, a fresh bloom, a bee returning to the same flower. So go ahead. Let your tomatoes cozy up to their basil companions. Let sunflowers proudly shade your tender peppers. Let dill sway in the breeze, watching over your cucumbers like a gentle sentinel. But most of all, let yourself enjoy this. Not as a chore to check off, but as a gift to be savored. Because every seed you plant, every soft blossom you cradle, every moment you spend with your hands in the soil, is a quiet reminder. Beauty grows best when it's nurtured with love and patience. Here at Meaningful Living, we believe that our best gardens, like our best years, are still ahead of us. And now, as we near the end of this journey, I'd love to share a final reflection with you. One filled with warmth, gratitude, and the quiet magic of new beginnings. Closing, until we meet again. As we come to the end of this quiet walk through the garden together, I just want to say, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your heart. And thank you for carrying dreams of green and growing things into this shared space with me. Because gardening, it's not just about seeds and soil. It's about hope. It's about planting something small today and trusting that tomorrow it will bloom into something beautiful. And in many ways, isn't that the story of us, too? Every wrinkle on our hands, every silver thread in our hair, isn't a sign of slowing down. It's a sign that we've weathered the seasons, and we're still growing, wiser, softer, stronger than ever. So as you tend your tomatoes and cradle your cucumbers, know this: you're not alone. We're all out here, planting little pieces of our hearts into the earth, one companion plant at a time. If today's journey warmed your spirit, or sparked a new idea for your garden, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button, give this video a gentle like, and leave a comment below, with a memory or a dream you're planting this season. I'd truly love to hear it. Until we meet again, may your days be filled with soft sun, kind rain, and the quiet, steady magic of new beginnings. Keep growing, dear friend. Always.